Hello, Hamburg. It's nice being here, seeing actually people's faces, which wasn't the case last year. And today I will be talking about top skills that the tech leaders need to master. Um, First off, a very short intro about me. I studied computer science, later some business administration. As a techie, I was a developer, sysadmin, backend person. And in my management career, I had several roles and lead and director and CPO and whatnot, which doesn't matter anymore so much in today's world, as Niels said in his talk. And currently I'm working as Vice President Engineering in OLX Global Tech Hub. OLX, hey? Just a short intro about OLX. We are part of Naspers Group, which is the 7th biggest internet company in the world. And our sister companies are Udemy, WeChat, and Delivery Hero. And the group itself is like eBay Kleinanzeigen. We are active in 40 countries, not in Germany, 40 offices, 4,000 people, global company. It's really fun, and now we are building a world-class tech hub in Berlin. So the topic is really, it has very high potential for bullshit bingo and buzzwords. I know that. I will try to avoid, but no promises. Let's start with travel in time. How far back? Back to the 80s. In the 80s, it was the time of mainframe computers. Big guys, big banks, they had these huge computers, they scaled nicely, lots of transactions. You had to be the absolute expert to deal with them, costly, difficult, and no real internet as we know today. Why am I talking about 80s? First of all, PCs. PCs started to appear at the workplace, at home. People get started working with computer on a day-to-day basis. And the word CTO. If you look at the references to CTO in Google books, you will see around 1980s in the middle, it starts the search. Something is happening there. What's happening, especially with big companies, they think like, technology is kind of important, getting important. What do we do? Oh, this R&D guy, the director of labs, let's call him CTO, and, it will be all good. Did it work like that? Not really. They also realize being good at tech is not enough. To drive business, that person should be a consultant, that person should understand business, but nevertheless, we see that tech people become important starting from 80s. 90s, the tech director of 80s, a nice picture. 90s, so we are getting used to using servers instead of mainframes, and there is migrations overall, and internet, people get connected. 1 billion people get connected during this time, not via laptops or mobile phones, but desktops mainly. And the leader around these years, these guys are important right now. And more and more companies define tech leadership and CTOs, and they have lots of challenges right now regarding the migration, scaling their systems, and super silos. The organizations still look like old-fashioned department of engineers, department of testers, department of sysadmins, horrible, terrible, really. And projects are, of course, waterfall. There is not real Scrum or Agile, and not really. And these people, they don't have to deal with offshoring and distributed teams and all this stuff. Usually, they have their teams together in one place. And automation around 90s. I had the privilege to work at the end of 90s in the commercial world. Well, it basically meant cron jobs and some scripts, but it's not comparable to the automation like we have today. So really, really painful time. And then we come to 2000s. And it's the second wave of internet. What is the second wave? The mobile wave. There is now 2 billion people connecting and also via the mobile devices. It's a real revolution. iPhone came out 2006, 2007, around that time. They completely changed the technology, the way we work, the way we live. A very smart visionary company, Amazon, they launched their Amazon Web Services 2006. Yeah, people heard about it. We made some tests about it, but nobody really, not nobody, but hardly anybody understood what it really meant and what could become one day. Agile becomes a thing now, and people start to talk about leaving waterfall and adapting new ways of work. So the work of CTO is more challenging. He has to do much more. He has to have more skills now. You know this guy, right? Werner Vogels from Amazon, and around that time he wrote the legendary article about distributed computing, and that's also what is very challenging for the tech leaders right now. They have to go more distributed and deal with more scaling challenges, and the mobile thing is like they are totally unprepared. I remember around those times, there were companies and CTOs, tech leaders, talking if mobile, if it's relevant for them. Shall we have a mobile page, website? Oh, maybe not. Discussing months long about that. And if we should have a mobile development, native mobile, oh, I don't know. I'm sure our domain, our users, type of work we do, we will never need that. I heard these conversations. So lots of them slept over this era of mobile revolution. Cloud is also the buzzword around this time. If you look at management, they hear it everywhere, they see it everywhere, but they don't understand what it means. How does it relate to me? What do I do? What's the relevance? If you look at tech people, sysadmin, I was a sysadmin around those times, we were a little bit scared. What is that now? I'm not driving to the data center and changing the hard disks myself. Do they get control over my systems? Am I losing my job? No, never ever that will happen. So denial and curiosity, and then trying out the cloud thing once, but we were totally confused about the stuff. Understanding the agile, doing the agile thing, it's becoming more mature, and people really started doing it and seeing the first results. And the bottom line is people who understood the way harvested the results later in the coming next years. So our time, 2010 and beyond, we are now in 2017, 2 more years to go. This is the third wave of internet. And the thing is, it's not about us anymore. It's not about humans, how many humans are connected if they're using the mobile phones. Yes, important, but it's about things. It's about the devices and Internet of Things connecting, creating data, talking to us, talking to each other, and that will be the topic of these 10 years. Google rolls out the mobile first index. I will try to talk about it shortly. We are living the shift from mobile first to AI first. And war for talent is also on the table of CTOs and tech leaders. They have to deal with it now. So leaders of now and tomorrow, what are we going to do? What is it going to be like? What do I need? What does a young CTO need to be successful? Well, of course, what do I know? But I try to come up with top 5 things that I think that might be relevant and important. So let's start. Number 1 is still get basics done. Basic does not mean easy or simple. It's the basic things, A and O of technology and core management. What are these things? If you look at the profile of a CTO and how people looked for a technical leader 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you would see things like security, continuous delivery, testing, quality, SLAs, load times, performance, all these things. And basically things around system performance, tech skills, quality, organizational hygiene, meaning how you do people management, how you lead your organization. If you do these things, if you did these things, you are good to go. You are successful. That's all. That's it. Good tech leader. Way to go. The thing is, it's not that like that anymore. We have to do all these things plus many other things. So the skill set of a tech leader and what's expected from us is growing day by day. So let's continue. What else? Driving strategic decisions. Ooh, buzzword, I know. But it's very important. Why? Today's business is highly depend of technology, digital aspects. So there is no way today's leaders make decisions, drive strategic decisions without help from tech and tech leaders. So we have to be in the game, we have to help, we have to be part of it. So these decisions, they bring a lot of love and hate relationship. There's always, which technology we pick and which way we go. Some people love to go this way, some people love to go that way, and no, I hate this. So these are difficult topics. And or denial, no, we don't need that. Our job is helping people understand, making technology digestible, which could be moving to cloud, or which cloud, or growing muscles for the future, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and whatnot, and being somebody who inspires and informs everybody in other functions. So let's get concrete, still buzzword. Mobile first indexing. Just shortly, it sounds very innocent, right? What is that? Oh, Google will look at the mobile version of your web page instead of the desktop version. That's it. But many people believe it's more than that. First of all, we will see the real impacts when they roll out the index in 2018, as far as I know. And it's one step towards the world without URLs. Without URLs. And I think that's something we have to digest. Why? Because the web with URLs is the web of web pages, access through URLs, data generated by humans, served to humans. This is used for creating the index, searching, and all kinds of things. And Google, by doing this, it's going one step behind humans. They are interested in things which are not web pages, which are not humans. They are interested in data generated by devices, or all kinds of data and possibilities which are reached behind the APIs. So the game is already moving towards from humans to the devices, to all the data and everything going on in the Internet of Things. So I think this is one thing we have to be very careful about. We cannot sleep through this way. What else? Shift to AI. This is CEO of Google, and I was there this year as he was telling the world, yeah, as Google, we are moving from mobile-first strategy to AI-first strategy. Sounds very fancy, but I know many companies, big modern companies, they are still struggling with 2017 going mobile first. Product strategy, the way we work, the way we do business, we are not ready yet, we are not there yet with mobile strategy, and the world is going somewhere else. So we have to be really aware of these things and understand that digitalization, the buzzword, will be more about machine learning, Internet of Things, and everything that comes with it. Okay, democratization of AI. They are all connected, basically. How we use data and what we do data is also progressing every day. Having a Hadoop cluster and running MapReduce scripts is not cool or is not the thing anymore. You have to know what to do with this data. How do you analyze it? Can you get predictions out of it? Can you get automated instances, machines that develop behaviors and change these behaviors and generate data, generate know-how that shares with other devices and humans? So these sets of AI, it's something we have to climb. For companies like Google, Microsoft, Apple, they are already on the top of the ladder, I believe, but we have to follow. Strategic decisions. I think this is really, really important. That will be a challenging skill set we have to develop. Then, product and business. We have to be product and business champions. And we say, like, of course, yeah, we all do that. But I don't believe so. I believe we still need to be much more better in understanding the product, understanding how product management should be done, and how our businesses work. When I'm saying that, I still believe product management is something we tend to think it's not part of our responsibility, not every time, and this has to change. Knowing our business is important, knowing what KPIs my business needs, and how do I move that, and what I do, how do I influence that with my organization, with my product. And by KPIs is not like load times or number of users. It's really like EBITDA and financial drivers and all these things. We have to understand, we have to digest these things and be a partner leading the business with the other functions. Examples, how that might work. I brought 2 examples. One of them, the guy down there, young guy, billionaire with 29, is Bobby Murphy, I guess. He is the CTO of Snapchat. So he basically hacked the app and is a co-founder, and they brought the app and the company to a place nobody has imagined ever before. And it wasn't just the technical skills that brought the company and that person to that stage, but also interest and skills around business and product. Second person is one of my heroes is Satya Nadella. He's CEO of Microsoft today. When I was in Microsoft, he was not CEO, and I must frankly say, as employees of Microsoft, we were really worried about where the company was heading. We had worries, and not only us, the stakeholders and the world, they were like, where is Microsoft is going? Is it going to end well? Is it end of an era? And all these things. And this guy became CEO, and he made a turnaround. He put that company back in the game together with the big guys. And I believe it's a combination of his product and business skills, and he's an engineer. He's a techie. So the combination made really the trick. Yeah. Then the culture. Setting up a modern culture for Generation Y. It's all about Generation Y. Who are these people? They are born between 1979 and 2004 latest, and these are the future. These guys are the guys. In 2 years, they will be more than half of our workforce, even more. And they think differently, they work differently, and people managing them like me, I'm Generation X, we have to understand these guys. They are masters of self-expression. It's all about selfies, being in the social media, and the world is big and complex, and you are like nobody. So you have to go out there, you have to express yourself, and it also has consequences at work. These people have, 80% of them sleep with their phones. They live attached to their phones. I must say, I'm also like that. They never had a life without internet, when I think about it, they didn't. And their working life is harder. It's almost always more than working between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. So they have a harder life. They have to change their jobs more frequently. It's a more risky life. So it's a mixture of things, but they're also known as lazier, as Generation X. We have to find our ways to get along with this generation. I would like to talk more about them. What I like about Generation Y, they are good techies. They love technology. They like devices. They are like connected all the time, which we love. And they have to be with screens, they have to use several devices and communications channels. So you cannot be angry with a Generation Y person who is sitting next to you and instead of talking to you, sending a Slack message. That's okay. Yeah, this is the world we are living in right now. So, and what can we tell about these things? So their parents are, better parents. Most of them had parents which were taking care of them all the time. Helicopter, riding the right. Are you eating well? Are you sleeping well? Where are you playing? Which school are you going? They were, they were under observation all the time. So their personalities and how they work also depends a little bit on that background. Always connected, multitasking talents. There is no multitasking person, but even their brains are wired in such a way that they're better than us in multitasking. So optimistic guys, although they are living in a world of 9th of September and terrorism, they are more optimistic. They are entrepreneurial, but they take risks lightly. So, and brands, they love brands. Generation Y is all about brands. We'll talk about it later, how we could leverage that. Remote work, distributed teams, we all know it. I just want to say, we all think that's okay, we support it, but it's hard, it's damn hard. As leaders, we have to be creative, we have to learn a lot of things, we have to spend time and energy so that we support really Generation Y in supporting that kind of working environments. So what can we do, what works with Generation Y better? They care about benefits and flexibility. If you have food at work and if you have facilities and other services and more flexible way of working, it is really important, sometimes more important than salary. Challenging and interesting work sounds great, right? Yeah, I want that too, and I'll do that. I'll give you challenging work. But today, in today's world, still, we have lots of things where we cannot afford that. Some functions, some types of work that requires you to do the same thing, for a couple of years maybe. What do we do there? Change the job role, rotate people. We have to get creative about that. Organizational values are more important for my generation, to be honest. During the Kool-Aid, we went with the values, but this generation already cares about the values really, and they look if they overlap with their own values. Work-life balance, we talked about it. And there was some question, feedback and coaching. These guys love it. They really enjoy the time with their managers, talking to them, talking about me. Tell me how I'm doing. And do you like me? Press the like button 5 times and talk to me and give me feedback. They are all about it. On the other hand, people from my generation, if it's time to talk with the manager, okay, one-on-one, okay, I have to go there. So there is real difference between both generations. We have to be careful about them. Give them time, give them love, give them lots of recognition. So all easier said than done. I believe as the managers of future and as the future managers of Generation Y, we have lots of homework to do. Coming to an end, last but not least, being a connected influencer. That is also an extension of working with Generation Y and new work. How do we explain that? Maybe it's okay not having a Facebook account. Maybe it's okay you are not sharing every poop color that your baby creates. It's okay. But if you're a tech leader, if you want to be in the game, you have to be professionally connected. You have to be there. There is no way around it. You have to know where's your community, where are your employers, are they blogging? Who are the people they are following? And you have to show yourself, show your team, show your company. You have to care about the events your people go to. Take a look which other leaders are there, and can I network there better? You have to get into this game of networking and connectedness, and even if it's not in your nature, I think this is something you should be doing. And maybe, probably, the org chart in your company still looks like this, and managers and titles and cascaded down the organization. But I believe this is not working already, and it won't work anymore in the future. The world looks like this today. So even with your fancy title and all your direct reports and whatnot, you have to influence people in your team, in other teams, within the company, outside of the company. Some people are more important, some people are less important. You have to navigate through this network to get a product, an organization, a company to a direction you want. So if you want to summarize how this shift is happening from old style management to the new style management, from command and control, where you have to carry all the stress and accountability and power, you have to move to a community of influence, and not in the company, but also outside of the company. And this crazy thing about centralize and simplify things, even that's what I learned in the MBA school: centralize the important functions and simplify, idiot-proof. Bring it to the one thing. There is like wonderful consulting frameworks that you squeeze a huge concept into a very simple 4-quadrant concept. These things don't work anymore. We are in tech. The world is complex. It's getting more complex. And the crazy thing is, we want it to be more complex. We want to generate millions and zillions of microservices and work with them. So we want a structured complexity, structured chaos in our systems, and we have to embrace it, and we have to know how to orchestrate it. Alignment via meetings is also a concept which is like dead already. Most of the meetings I know are like not bringing value. We have to learn from Generation Y how we use different communication channels, email, Slack, meetings, something else, and then learn how it works best for us. Having titles and reporting orgs and, yeah, it's still an issue. But if you think about it, if you think about the cool people that you care about in your company, in your community, are they like, is it the CEO or your manager? Or, I'm sure there are cool people. You care a lot in your company. And these people are brands within the company and outside of the company. That is what matters much more than a fancy title right now. And last but not least, sharing and caring. We are having kind of a hippie culture in tech right now. Being a good techie, being a good leader, work with your team, share information with them, and don't share with anybody. Go guys, we are going to beat them. These times are over. It's all about doing it, nurturing it in a community basis. Help the others in your community, make open source, have a meetup. If somebody is leaving your organization, give him a hug, stay connected, and then get a referral from him. So not only our jobs and systems, not only our systems, but also our jobs and the way we work is getting connected. We have to be open to the world. Yeah, so wrapping up, we should get basics done. It's not enough. We should be guiding the business around strategy. Product and business, we have to understand, care about Generation Y, and be connected, and be a connected influencer rather than a fancy title, powerful manager somewhere. I think that's the future that we are facing. And I say thank you, and looking forward to hearing your questions.
Thank you, Füsun. Are there any questions? Oh, can't believe that. So maybe I should start first.
Okay.
I have the question, how long did it take it for you to understand the Generation Y?
Good question. I already considered myself Generation Y 10 years ago, but then as my team started to grow and go beyond 10, 12 people in several countries afterwards, I came to the conclusion that I really don't understand a thing. And I started, spending time with the guys and looking into ways of, finding resources that would help me. So around 2010, maybe.
Okay. Do you understand that basic question about the Generation Y? Do you have other stories about that?
How many of you born in 80s? There you go.
So very interesting, and thanks for the very good talk. My question would be like a hint where to start. I mean, you have now these five points, but maybe there's some good advice how to actually start with the process.
Yeah. I would almost say from the end, getting connected, getting into the community, and then understanding the people in that community, and then working on yourself, on your business skills, on your technical skills. But I guess without getting the help of the community and people understanding them, it's really hard. You can survive in your own company, but already the next job and the job after, or the challenges outside will be overwhelming. Come on, everybody's sleeping. Or what? Or, texting, tweeting about me. Snapchat. Am I online? Yeah, I'm still doing meetings, sure. But the amount of meetings that I find valuable is decreasing every year, every week. So I'm trying to squeeze the meetings into the bare minimum and try to clarify, let's say it like this. If a message can be sent in an asynchronous way, I'm doing that. Sending an email is in for me again. Using a Slack channel is in for me again. And if the message is not arriving, Generation Y or the people I work with, I'm not pushing them into a meeting room and saying this has to happen. I'm finding other ways to raise urgency. Hey guys, if I send a mail this and that way, that matters. Please read that. So in that way, I'm hoping we develop a culture where we don't need to meet in person again and again, where half of the audience is sleeping anyway. When I think the technology will come to German government. Yeah. Oh, it's very tough question. So I already don't feel that the politicians are my generation. So I really don't understand them on that matter. And they are full of restrictions and rules and processes, and their life is hard. I think the natural solution would be you guys and maybe my generation coming bottom up and changing the culture they have. The existing guys that are out there, I think it's really tough for them to do something they really don't understand.
But
if
isn't
it makes sense.
kind of our generation? Oh, sorry. Isn't our generation exactly the problem? Because, I mean, we are here probably supporting the technology, and we're all interested about it. But I know like a lot of people who don't want that change and who don't want the new stuff, and who actually, like my generation, who don't know what Airbnb is and this kind of things, and they're satisfied with the world they're living in, and they don't want to change. So that's why, like, how can we here, like, I don't know, 5% of Germany, try to change the German government?
I think I'm more optimistic than you. Maybe working with good techies for years now, I do believe there's a good portion of German publicity and German young people that are indeed going for change, and they will drive the change. And I don't think you need majority to drive change. You just need a critical mass and enough energy to drive it forward.
Thank you.
And actually, I want to add from my business perspective, I worked with German government, seeing persons writing legal stuff in an agile way. I have seen governments saying we want to get agile, so I guess they are starting, and what I see is they are starting when people are demanding it. So it's your job to demand it.
It's on you, Generation Y. Yeah.
Question, can you be okay, I will repeat. What would you say about coding versus management, or to put it in a question, is it possible to be a good manager without coding or checking out new technologies, especially for small companies?
Yes and no. So one of the guys that I hired 2 years ago is sitting here, and the title was Director of Engineering. And I could have hired him without a coding challenge, but he did a coding challenge, and we did look at it and we did talk about it. So I believe as a technical leader, you should have done some coding, sysadmin work, something, and you should have been good at it, passionate about it, at least a good period of time. And I think it's natural as you go up in the management ladders, it gets impossible to code or, contribute. If I go and commit something tomorrow, my team will kill me. So, and I'm not good enough probably in many of the ways they are doing now. But it's important that I was one of them ages ago. It's important we have a connection and we use the same language. I don't believe in tech leaders not having a technical background, no.
From your experience, we are in a world right now that hasn't changed yet. So we have to deal with both situations, the younger generation and the German government as a company.
Yeah.
So can you explain from your experience, would you see yourself as a moderator and trying to handle it more from a side perspective, or would you translate the stuff in the middle between these, or any other approach for this?
From upper management to the team. So it depends on
or from externals. I think it's kind of the same question.
Yeah. I think it depends on the situation. Sometimes you have management or external partners that are really eager to learn and to go with you, go with the flow, and you bring your team together, maybe make some kinds of translation work, but that's it, and the flow is there. But sometimes you have upper management or partners that are like from another planet, and you see that, they say that they want to work with us, but they want to change us, or they want to, have so much influence in what we are doing. I think the role is protecting your team, protecting from, the bullshit sometimes.
So a bit more technical question, not too much political stuff here.
Yeah.
You, as far as I understand, you are more pushing in communication-wise more to the asynchronous approach, like email, Slack channel, stuff like that. But in my opinion, I think you lose some context and you tend to get some misunderstandings how things were meant and stuff like that. Do you have any recipe how to solve these problems, or?
No, but I learn things. For example, using Slack and email. You have to bring up a culture, when do they know that it's important when I write something in Slack? Is there a common way of handshake? Sometimes I have to make a meeting and make it clear. And the second thing is repeat. With Generation Y, repeat. These guys are multitasking, and it's already known that concentration might be a thing. You are doing projects and Snapchat and telephoning, and the concepts can get into each other. Repeating things really help. And don't give too many restrictions. Basically, keep life simple.
Is there any advice you can give on fast-growing development departments, for example, in startups, where to focus on when they are growing up?
Tough question. You never know what would be the thing that bugs you. It could be, you went 10x in traffic overnight and you have to scale. It could be a Postgres database that's bugging you, or you hire 20 people and you don't know how to deal with them. So it really depends on the situation. The only thing I would recommend is being a startup is cool, being in the new game, white pages is cool, but if you have at least one person who knows how to scale things, who has seen an enterprise, a biggish setup before, having that person on board is really helpful. They should give some love to these people and not just label them as old-fashioned. That's it? Okay? Yeah. Enjoy the rest of the day.